Hello, and thanks for joining me. We are at the Circuito Estoril, just outside of Lisbon, which is very handy for me, seeing as I live in Lisbon. It's a beautiful 4.2 kilometer circuit, which was formerly used for, it's even hosted some Formula One races back in the day. But the reason we're here is for this. This is the McLaren 750S. And the designation might give you a clue that it's the replacement for the 720S. Technically, it's a mid-cycle update, but McLaren say they have changed 30% of the components in this car. So it's, in many respects, almost, well, there's one going blasting past. So in many respects, it's a vastly upgraded car from the 720S. So the 750S designation, that corresponds to the power output. It's 750 horsepower, 800 Newton meters of torque. Both of those figures are up by 30 on its predecessor. So the 720S was 720 horsepower, 770 Newton meters. And as you can imagine, for a car this light, it weighs only 1277 kilograms. That's the dry weight. The din weight with all the fluids and 90% fuel is about 1355, I think. So it's super light. It's lighter than anything else in its segment, and that's mainly thanks to the carbon fiber monocell chassis. So the power to weight ratio is humongous. And this is reflected by the performance, because it does 0 to 100 in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 200 in 7.2 seconds, and tops out, I think, just over 330 kilometers an hour. So it's rocket ship fast. And we've been blasting around this track, and I can tell you this is a seriously quick car. It's probably one of the quickest cars I've driven around this circuit. In fact, it is the quickest car I've driven here. Stylistically, there's not a huge amount that has changed. There is a bigger rear wing, which is about 20% bigger in surface area, yet it's 1.6 kilograms lighter. So weight saving has been a key element in this car. So it's 30 kilograms lighter than its predecessor. And the added power and torque output, that's the result of high pressure turbos, twin fuel pumps, which are new. There's a sports exhaust system, which is 2.2 kilograms lighter than the old exhaust. And that sort of exits out the center of the rear deck, which I'll show you in a second. And the good thing about this car is that if you see any scoops or air intakes, they're all functional. There's nothing fake in this car. You know, as the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So stylistically, it's largely as per the 720S. A few bits and bobs have changed. I think the front splitter and spoiler. Out the back, there's a new bumper, and the rear diffuser, etc., has changed a little bit. There's plenty of scope for customization. This has the carbon fiber headlight surrounds, these little Duvalakis here. They're normally gloss black, so you can go to town with the customization on this car, especially if you get the folks from McLaren Special Operations involved, and then you can really, you know, go to town with personalization options. Very low car, it's and about 2 meters wide. And of course you have these doors which where's the door handle? Yeah, very distinctive, sort of these butterfly doors. And then basically you're left with just what McLaren calls a T-bar in the middle when it's all opened up. So, and there is also a Spider version of this car, which weighs 50 kilograms more, but the folks at McLaren say it is virtually as stiff as this. So you don't lose anything in terms of torsional rigidity. So this is of course the coupe, but the Spider is nearly the same in terms of stiffness, and it's only about 50 kilograms heavier. So performance in the Spider as well is electrifying. The rim size is incidentally 19-inch at the front, 20s at the back, and that's the only size you can get. And tire choices, Pirelli P0, Pirelli Corsa. These cars are on the Track Focus Trofeo R tires, so semi-slick tire. And this has the big brake option from the McLaren Senna. So as you can see, huge carbon ceramic discs and these ginormous calipers here. Stopping power is it's super strong. So yep, as you can see, as per the 720S, there's a sort of very rearward bias in terms of the visual mass of this car. So a lot of sort of bulk and muscle around the back. And I like the fact that it's very much like a GT3 car, because you have all these exposed bits here. The exhaust, which I had mentioned earlier, exits out the center of the rear deck. This bigger rear wing, 20% bigger. So through some of the faster corners here, you can perceive the aero efficiency of this car. And yeah, sort of down through there, you can see some of the mechanicals of the car. So in terms of the opposition for this car, obviously there's Ferrari 296 GTB and GTS. There's Lamborghini's Huracan, which next year will be replaced by an all-new successor. But I guess what really sets this one apart is the fact that it's just so much lighter and very tactile in terms of all its responses. You have hydraulic steering, hydraulically assisted steering rather than electric power steering. So you have very delicate feel and you can really sort of make the car dance around. So it's a very enjoyable car. I think on track it's probably the most alive car, shall we say, out of anything in this class. So here we are inside the car, and as is the norm with McLaren, the emphasis is on functionality. So it is of course designed to be aesthetically pleasing as well, but the emphasis is really on functionality and ease of use. So there isn't an excess of sort of design elements. Everything is sort of very driver-centric. There's a couple of different seat options. There's a comfort seat, and then there's also like a fixed seat, which is those two are the standard fit options, no cost. This has the sort of the carbon fiber shelled race seats, and this car has the 5-point harnesses as well. Which we've just been using out on track. They're actually pretty comfortable. You could sort of see yourself doing some long journeys in this, no problem. But of course, this is only for people who are going to be doing regular track days. Everything sort of falls neatly to hand. Maybe I might just fire it up. So just to bring everything to life. Yeah, beautiful tactile steering wheel, hydraulically assisted steering, as I mentioned, so there's a lot of feel. These carbon fiber paddles fall easily to hand. And then the drive modes, you can toggle through the drive modes via this little thingy here. So it means you don't really have to take your hands off the wheel. And then also you can adjust the aero of the car. And then there's also a lift button, so which I think in 4 seconds or so, or 5 seconds, raises the car. And then the rest is sort of familiar McLaren, sort of these toggle switches for the different, for the transmission. And yeah, really everything sort of falls very neatly to hand, very ergonomically sound, I would say. So yeah, I think a thumbs up for the interior as well. In terms of pricing, I think in the UK it'll be around £260,000. So you can sort of extrapolate for your individual market what that would work out to. And deliveries will start towards the end of this year, perhaps a bit later for some markets. But I'd say based on our preliminary drive of this car today, I'm giving it a thumbs up. I think there's really not a whole lot to fault in the car. So hugely entertaining car, extreme but usable also from day to day. So that is my wrap of the McLaren 750S. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.